Are fad diets good for your health? The word fad means influenced by popularity, and this is often done in the media. Celebrities are one example of people who often promote their fad diets. One specific fad diet that's talked about in the media that you may have heard of is Tom Brady, the Patriots quarterback, is often seen in the news and media talking about his super strict diet. His wife is a Victoria's Secret model gazelle, and it's strange and often talked about because they do their diet also with their children, which children usually aren't on diets, so that's why it's kind of weird. They supposedly never drink coffee, never have sugar, never eat any processed foods. They only eat local, organic, plant-based diet. This is a big deal because a lot of people look up to Tom Brady. He's been super successful. He's won 6 Super Bowls, and he's 41, which is really old for a professional athlete, and he's still in really good shape. So a lot of people attribute that to a super strict diet, so they might be interested to try the diet because they want to be like him. This is just one example of a fad diet. We're going to talk about other fad diets and talking about are they good for your health or are they bad for your health. I'm going to say they're bad for your health. My name is Tess McConkey.
I'm David Graber, and I'll be presenting what are good for your health. So today we'll be going through a brief background of the diets, a few general types, and we'll be going over the pros and cons of the keto and zone diet, as well as a conclusion.
Why fad diets came about, partially because obesity is a really big problem in America. 1 in 3 adults is considered obese, and 1 in 6 children, according to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive Kidney Diseases. Specifically, I think it was important to put it in here that obesity increased in America from 1980 to 2000. I thought this was really strange because those are the years where computers and cell phones and TVs and everything were becoming super popular and available, so you think that people would have more education on nutrition and health, more access to information, but it actually had the reverse effect because people were more physically inactive and had sedentary lifestyles. This isn't the only factor that contributed to obesity, though. Also, sleep habits, where and how people live, and their access to a safe place to be active and healthy food plays a role in obesity.
Why should you care? You should care because most people have tried some of these diets. Some have succeeded, some have failed. You guys might not know the proper ways to go about the diet, which can lead to health problems. And you should know about the health benefits that can come from following the diets as well.
What is a fad diet? Fad diets are, like I said, influenced by popularity, like the Tom Brady example. What diets are shown in the news and media. A lot of celebrities promote their fad diets. This specific definition of a fad diet from the USDA Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging is that fad diets are an intake of macronutrients in a particular proportion or avoidance of particular food groups. The macronutrients we talked about in class, obviously nucleic acids aren't a macronutrient because you're not consuming DNA, but protein, carbs, and fats we've talked about. Examples of protein are meat, like the picture shows, fish, eggs, some kind of dairy, nuts and beans can be considered protein. Carbs are bread, like the picture shows, rice, cereal. Also, fruits and veggies, usually people think they're healthy, so they're not carbs because people have a bad association with carbs, but most fruit and veggies are considered carbs. Fats would be like the olive oil shown, avocados are fat, peanut butter is mostly fat. These aren't all the examples of the foods, but these are just some of the most common ones.
So there are 3 basic categories that people tend to refer to and follow when starting out on a fad diet or reach their body weight goal. The first one is the low-fat diet. It consists of less than 15% fat. It's mostly made up of carbs and lots of fruits and vegetables, and it can help with heart disease. The second one is increased protein. It has a low glycemic level, index level. Glycemic index is a system used to classify foods based on how they affect your blood sugar. So high is bad and low is good. And then the third one is the low carb fat, high fat, and it can lead to ketosis and it has 10% less carbs.
Today there's obviously a lot of different fad diets, but we're just going to focus on 2 so it doesn't get too confusing. We're going to talk about the keto diet. I feel like that's a relevant diet. It's become really popular recently. That would be a high-fat, low-carb diet. And the zone diet doesn't really fall under one of those categories. It's a more balanced diet. It's probably one of the better ones. We're going to go in depth about how they're good and how they're bad.
So the ketogenic diet can lead to ketosis, which is a natural metabolic state that involves taking fat that's ingested and burning it for energy. It consists of about 70% fats, 20% proteins, and 10% carbohydrates. Why is the keto diet good for you? Well, it promotes good health and helps with health problems such as cancer, epilepsy, and diabetes. It can help with weight loss, lose the excess weight that you have in your body that you don't want and you don't need, and it helps keep you fuller for longer and helps maintain your blood sugar levels.
I think the keto diet is really bad for you. One of the main things, just for practicality purposes, it's really hard to maintain it because your main energy source is carbs. Humans' main energy source is carbs, and you're barely eating any carbs on this diet. So you're going to have a lot less energy. You're not going to want to exercise because this diet also comes with exercise requirements, but you're not going to want to exercise if you have no energy and you're feeling really tired all the time from being hungry and from not having as many carbs. Another thing that kind of goes to the practicality is a lot of experts recommend that you measure your urine so that you can ensure that you're doing the diet correctly and undergoing ketosis. I think that would be really expensive and not practical to measure your urine all the time in everyday life. It might work for a short period of time, but you're not going to want to do that forever to maintain a certain weight or keep losing weight. And also, according to Zaratsky, the diet has 70% fat, so that's puts you at more risk for heart disease. Eating all that fat's really not good for you.
So the zone diet, it's basically made up of ratios of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. It consists of about 40% proteins, 30% fats, and 30% proteins. So why the zone diet is good for your health? It's more balanced than the other fad diets. So like you have all the food groups that you need, like fruits, vegetables, proteins, fats, and carbs. It's not as extreme to where you have too many fats and not enough proteins and carbohydrates as well.
One thing I think is bad about the zone diet is it has really strict proportions with every meal. For example, some people usually eat like a light breakfast, just cereal or granola bar or something. You wouldn't be able to do this on the zone. You have to get fats and carbs and proteins in with every meal in a very strict proportion. Also, these pictures show, obviously that took a lot of time in meal prep. Not everybody has access to these healthy foods, these grocery stores. Some of the recipes on the diet involve really weird vegetables and fruits to be really specific, and those might be hard to find. You might not have them at your local grocery store. Not every grocery store carries eggplants and some unusual vegetables and things. And also, it's really time-consuming and expensive to have to continually buy some of these expensive, quirky foods. You have to eat an hour after exercise, which a lot of people have problems with. Some people might not have time. You have to prepare your meal if you're going to eat it an hour after exercise. Some people might have an upset stomach. They might not want to eat an hour after exercise. They might be hungrier later, so it might not work for those people.
So overall, fad diets are good for you because they promote your better health, which it can be good for you because it will help you with diseases if you have them, like cancer and epilepsy. Ease of use, so it's pretty much already laid out for you. It has all the foods that you should be eating and the portions and what you shouldn't be eating. And it can rid a person of unhealthy eating habits such as processed foods, fast foods, and eating out all the time.
Overall, I think fad diets are not effective, and I think they're bad for your health. They may be good for a short period of time, but they're not sustainable for a long time. You're not going to be able to be on a diet for the rest of your life if that's what you're depending on to be able to maintain weight. That's not healthy. And if you're completely avoiding certain food groups, never eating carbs, never eating fats, that's going to create a really unhealthy relationship with food, and it's going to also mess up your mental health, possibly promote eating disorders, which is obviously not good for your health as well. I think that there can be other approaches to losing weight. I think that not all fad diets are horrible. Some of them have good ideas, but I just think overall joining a fad diet isn't a good thing. Maybe you can use some of the recipes from the fad diets in your everyday lifestyle. You don't have to completely follow the diet super strict. I think consistency, our body really likes consistency, so I think that's the key. You don't want to binge eat a whole bunch for a couple weeks and then starve yourself for a couple weeks. That's not good as long as you're consistent with your diet, and it's not going to hurt you every once in a while to slip up as long as you stay consistent. Also, fad diets may not even be effective. According to Benton and Young, drastically reducing your calories can actually slow your metabolism in some cases. Obviously, you're going to have to eat less calories to lose weight, but if you completely cut your calories to a really low level, that's actually not good for your metabolism. I think that if you keep track of your weight instead of going on a fad diet to lose a whole bunch of weight, if you only gain 5 or 10 pounds, it's going to be a lot easier to lose than if you gain a whole bunch of weight. So keeping track of your weight is one easy way to avoid fad diets and go with the more lifestyle approach.
So in conclusion, they support faster weight loss and lose the excess weight that you don't need and isn't healthy for your body. And they help give you health benefits like with cancer patients and epilepsy, and they can help prevent getting diabetes and other diseases.
Overall, I think fad diets are really bad for you. They're not good for long term. You can't stick on a fad diet forever, and that's not good for your body. And like I said earlier with those obesity statistics, not everybody in the whole country is going to be able to do a fad diet, so I don't think that's a sufficient solution for everyone in the country to reduce obesity.
So exercise is a key component in any fad diet and just daily life in general. It'll help you with maintaining your weight and keep like the excess fat off your body so that you aren't unhealthy and you can live longer and have a better, healthier life. If you keep up with your exercise regimen, you shouldn't really need a fad diet, but they help you with maintaining what you eat and keep track that you don't eat all the unhealthy and processed foods.
Another solution would be prior research. According to Zaraski, if you do, for example, one of the diets we talked about was the high protein diet, that wouldn't hurt a normal person's kidneys, but if you have problems with your kidneys, all that extra protein is really damaging to your kidneys and it can be really bad. So no matter what, if you decide to do a fad diet or not, you should always do prior research, consult with your doctor, make sure the diet you're picking is right for you so you're not hurting your body. Just because you hear about Tom Brady in the news and his fantastic diet, how he's in the best shape ever, he's super successful, doesn't mean that diet would be right for you.
All right.